Hey now, my name is Nick, this is Board Game Brawl, and it is time for another scintillating episode of Q&A. You ask me questions, I give you answers, I try my absolute best not to offend anyone, but I make no promises whatsoever, and we all try to leave with our dignity and our clothes intact. Actually, a very nice person who entered our contest from last week wrote in their email, I think there's maybe a language barrier, but why would anyone be offended? We're just talking about board games here. Don't worry about being offended. It's just a joke. I know. If I offend anybody, wow, you are easily offended. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please keep your questions coming. Any more and more new questions. Remember, you can ask me about anything. I don't even care how ridiculous it is. But if you ask me something ridiculous, I'm going to give you a ridiculous answer. So you need to expect that at least. But keep them coming on any social media platform of your choice, down in the YouTube comments, Facebook, Twitter, at Board Game Brawl, or email me directly, boardgamebrawl@gmail.com. We have a Patreon account, which I'll have a link to down in the doobly-doo, and again, I hope that's not copyrighted by the PBS Idea channel. But down in the comment section below the video, you'll find a link to our Patreon account. Please pledge if you can. I know it's the Christmas season, so it's kind of tough, but we're actually having our first Google Hangout today for the $5 and up pledge level people, and as part of that, we're actually going to discuss what we're going to do for a live play, either over Skype or over Google Hangout for people that pledge at $10 or above. So please do check that out if you can consider pledging. That would be fantastic because every little bit helps me improve the channel. And you know, I'm looking forward to giving you the best content possible, and Patreon helps make that possible. Also, please upvote us on board game links. I don't really know how much that's actually going to do for the channel, but if it's a popularity contest, I at least want to be in the running. So go over there, look for Board Game Brawl on their like whole big list of sites and video bloggers and podcasters and things, and upvote us. I'll have a link for that down in the doobly-doo as well. Okay, we have a winner for our contest from last week, which was In Love and War, which you don't know where I put it. I don't have it on me right now, but it's a great little card game, and hopefully it gets picked up over here soon. It's just a rummy type card game. It's not too in-depth, but it's cute and it's got a cool theme. So the winner of that is Jason Wolf. Jason, congratulations. There is already an email sitting in your inbox asking you for your address. I should have that out and within a couple of days, as soon as you get back to me in time. Plenty of time for the holidays if you want to give it as a gift. And we have a new contest. I wasn't expecting to have a new one so soon, but I managed to get my hands on another extra copy of Heart of Crown Fairy Garden. This is the first big standalone expansion to Heart of Crown. The entire Heart of Crown series cannot be obtained in the US easily, at least. It's kind of tough for me to get the couple that I have, but it's such a great game. I've talked it up so highly that I am thrilled to be able to give someone a chance to win a copy of it. I actually don't have my review of Fairy Garden up quite yet, but I can assure you it's really good. The only issue with it is it's got the same princesses as the base game. I was like, whatever. But otherwise, it's a really good set. And if you've been dying to get the game, this is your chance. Actually, I'll note too that this entire game is in Japanese, and you need to know Japanese to play it as is, but there are English paste ups available. So what I'm going to do as part of the package deal, I'm going to go ahead and print out all the paste ups in color for you, but you have to provide your own sleeves and sleeve them yourself, obviously. If you want to enter that contest, I'm going to keep this kind of simple, but I do want to make it work just a little bit. So you can email me at boardgamebrawl@gmail.com, put in the subject line just Heart of Crown Contest. You don't have to put Fairy Garden, just Heart of Crown Contest. And in the body of the email, I want to know what the #1 game on your Christmas wish list is. I don't care if it's like way out of the boundaries of reality, but what is the tabletop game that you want more than anything else that you hope is under the tree or under the whatever religious symbology you're using for the year? Whatever you want underneath that object, what do you want the most this Christmas? Let me know that in the subject, and you will be entered into the contest, and please spread the word. I know you don't want to limit your odds of winning, but I'm trying to get as many people to know that we're giving this out as possible, because I know there's a lot of people that want this game, so I'd be happy to make someone who's really thrilled about it happy this Christmas. If you're an international winner, I'll cover the first $10 of shipping. That's it, because international shipping can go crazy. I'd love to be able to cover it all, but I just can't guarantee that. So we'll see, but please enter the contest and let everyone know about it. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and get straight to our questions. Just a couple of quick ones, or a few quick ones this week. Tokoyaki OC wants to know, is there a game that I really, really enjoy, but doesn't get to the table that much because other people in my group don't like it and it just rarely gets played, but it has a lot of expansions, and I keep buying the expansions anyways just because I love the game so much, regardless of whether I play it or not. And the answer is a resounding yes. A resounding sad yes. I definitely have games like that in my collection. I'm thinking Tanto Cuore, wherever that is behind me. I really, really love Tanto Cuore. I have all 3 base sets that have been released, and I've even kickstarted the other one. I'm not sure when that's going to show up, probably early next year. And I don't get it to the table as much as I should. I would love to play that game. I haven't even had a chance to like mix everything together. I've played each of the 3 base sets a few times, but I would love to mix them all together and get different mates. I haven't even been able to do that. But I'll keep buying it. Another good example, Super Dungeon Explorer. I have everything Super Dungeon Explorer up to this point, and I kickstarted the Forgotten King as well. I barely ever get that to the table. I'd love to try all the new mini bosses, and it just doesn't happen. Pathfinder, I haven't been able to play that as much, but Pathfinder I'm playing solo, so Pathfinder adventure card game. So I'm not too worried about that. There's other games that I've always been able to get to the table. Cosmic Encounter, I have everything for the new FFG version of that. New-ish. The newest imprint of it. But that's always been able to get to the table. But it's just, I haven't been able to get some of these other really good ones that I love so much to the table. But who knows? I'm sure I'm not the only acquisition disorder sufferer in the board game realm who has had this happen to them. Sound off in the bottom in the comments if you also have this very first world problem-ish affliction. But thank you, Takayaki. That's a great question, actually. Next question. Marvin Ramirez wants to know, do you play chess or checkers? Serious question. No. When I was a kid, I played checkers all the time versus my grandma. I remember that specifically. I probably got some other family members to play that with me too. And when I was a kid, I loved it. I mean, now I can't imagine playing it. As far as chess, I have been taught chess twice. Very long segments of time between each one, so I had to be retaught just to memorize what all the different pieces do. I did not care for it. I mean, I was, at the second time that I learned, I had a lot of friends who loved it, played it all the time. And it just wasn't for me. I like Go better than chess, but I couldn't even stay interested in Go. There's got to be something there for me to latch onto it. I'll give you an example. I just played and reviewed Cell Swords from Level 99. That's a pretty abstract game when you think about it. There's not like a lot of story to that game, and you're really just comparing numbers and moving tiles/cards around. But the artwork is awesome. I love the artwork, and it just felt very engaging, and having all these different special abilities felt very engaging to me, and just put just a smidge of theme into it to make it a good game for me. But there's none of that in chess and checkers or Go, so it's really hard for me to go into an abstract game like that. That's why I hear people like Vassal talk about all these different other abstract games that have come out in the last like decade or so, like the Gipth series of games, which I'm like, okay, those might be great games. I don't think I'll ever play them because it's just not my speed. But if you like chess, if you're really good at it, I admire you, because I know it takes a lot of intelligence and logical thinking to be fantastic at chess. It's just not for me. So, and I know I'll never be great at it either. So maybe that's another barrier of entry as well. But hey, I'd like to know who else plays a lot of chess, because I think if you're really good at chess, it probably helps a lot of other board games that you play as well. But thank you very much, Marvin. Proof Rock 1977 wants to know, what are my most disappointing games? Proof Rock, I'm not going to answer your question right now because I think that might be the subject of my next top 10 list. I'm going to have to go, well, first I'm going to finish up my top 100. Hopefully I have that finished by Christmas. And then the top 10 games of 2014, which should be maybe the last week of December. But after that, I really think I'm going to do top 10 disappointing games. Either that or top 10 two-player games, something like that. But there's definitely going to be a list for that, because I have quite a few entries, unfortunately. But that's a fantastic question, so stay tuned. And lastly for today, we have Manjula Gunarante, who wants, she's starting her own collection, or her own board game collection, and wants to know, what is the ideal collection size, at least from my perspective? How many games should you have? Or I suppose she's, to read more into it, what are the right types of games to have? Really, this sounds like a cop-out, but the ideal board game collection size is whatever works for you and your group. Because I know people who get by with like 10 to 15 games that they really, really love, and they just play those a lot, and maybe other people in their group bring some other games, and that's enough for them. And that also helps too. If you have a small, close-knit group of people who are all hardcore gamers, then chances are you all are bringing different games to the table. You all have your own little collections with some differences. And that's enough for a lot of people. For me, I mean, look, this is obviously I have a disorder, but also I'm a board game reviewer, so I'm always constantly getting new games. I need to for my channel to survive, unfortunately. It's not the wisest financial decision by any stretch of the imagination. I don't recommend it, so I don't think that you need to be a hoarder like I am. Well, you know, for me, it's just kind of, I'm not going to say it's a necessity, but I really don't think I'd have as many if I wasn't a board game reviewer. I'd be, certainly, there's a lot of games here that are just like good, that probably wouldn't make it onto my radar if I wasn't a reviewer. But hey, look, I've got friends also on the other end of the spectrum who are not board game reviewers, have nothing to do with media whatsoever, who have literally thousands of games. Thousands. Like everything you see here times 3 or 4. I'm not kidding. And I know other people in media who have that too. So, but that's more of a collecting thing. There is like it's kind of a blurred line between getting games just to have them because board gaming is your hobby, or getting games both to play them and to collect them. Very few of the games you see here I have just because I want them. Like, oh, they're amazing. Maybe that game Dragon Scroll that I just reviewed, because the gameplay is not all that, but it's such a cool thing to have. I might hold on to something like that, but everything else here is something that I have the expectation that I will play because I enjoy it. So if you're the type of person that just wants games to enjoy and you are not a reviewer, you don't need a constant influx of new games, your board game collection might be very small, and more power to you. If you like collecting games, if you're like me, or well, I'm not that much related, but if you're like a friend of mine who has thousands of games, or if you're like Chris Miller from the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast, you just want games because they look great or they have awesome components. I only have a smidge of that, but other people love to do that, and that's up to you. That's up to the boundaries of your budget and just how much you like the physical aspects of games. So I'm sorry, Majula, there's not an easy answer to that question, but I think it's wherever you're comfortable at. If you ever get to a point where you're like, I haven't been playing these games and I think I might have too much and I kind of feel bad about it, maybe stop. You know, it's not, you know, you don't need to get every single new game that comes out. Get the ones that you love. And if you love them and if you're not tired of them yet, more power to you. And if you do get tired of them, then consider getting some more games. That's the best thing I could say. And that is it for questions for today. We're getting caught up, so I need more questions. Please, like I said, anywhere in social media or down in the YouTube comments, I'd love to hear them. Any ridiculous question you have, any serious question you have, I would love to read it. I read every single one of them. My name is Nick. This has been Board Game Brawl, another scintillating session of Q&A. And I'm reminding you to get out there and game every day and in every way. Take care.